Today we're taking a look at the Gerber US1. Could this be a good American Made EDC option under $20? Today we're going to find out. The Gerber US1 features a 420HC drop point blade with a full flat grind, gray rubberized plastic handles, and a lock-back locking mechanism. This knife has an overall length of 6 inches, a blade length of 2.5 inches, and a handle length of 3.5 inches. Some other notable features about this knife are its nail nick opener and the small lanyard hole here at the back. It also features some nice jimping here on the spine of the blade as well. The small and compact design of this knife was originally made so it could be a coin pocket carry knife. As you can see here, it fits in there really nicely. Personally, this wasn't how I carried it, just because when you carry something in your coin pocket, it tends to jab you when you sit down, so I just carry it like I would a Victorinox or any other knife without a pocket clip, and I attach this piece of paracord to assist with getting it out of my pocket. Now, 420HC or 420 high carbon stainless steel isn't really anything fancy in the blade steel world. 420HC along with the rest of the 400 series are considered to be budget steels. That being said, they are still pretty good. In fact, a lot of Leatherman multi-tool blades are made from 400 series steel. Now, I'm not a complete expert on knife steels and all that, but if you'd like to learn more, Blade HQ actually has a really awesome article on their website. It goes into a lot of detail about all the different blade steels. I'll leave a link for that in the description if you're interested. This knife is made from a lot of cheaper materials. We have a budget blade steel along with handles made from rubber and plastic. This makes the knife surprisingly lightweight, weighing in at only 0.96 ounces. This knife features a back lock locking mechanism, sometimes also referred to as a lock-back locking mechanism. This type of locking mechanism is a classic design that you'll see on a lot of older style knives. It provides a very simple and strong lock. It goes like this. It's right here. There's a pin here that holds it. Press right here, close the blade, you open it, and it clicks into place like that. It also provides a very smooth open and close. The Gerber US1 is also made in the USA, which is a big plus. Here are 5 good things about this knife. The first good thing about this knife is that it is super affordable. We'll talk about that in a minute. The second good thing about this knife is it's made from a decent yet budget blade steel. The third thing about this knife that's good is that it has a sturdy locking mechanism, and it also opens and closes very smoothly. The fourth good thing about this knife is that it's made in the USA. And the fifth good thing about this knife is that it has a full flat grind blade. A bonus good thing about this knife is that it has a hole right there for a lanyard or paracord. Here are 5 things that aren't as great about this knife. The first not so great thing about this knife is that it has a little bit of flex to it. The second not as great thing about this knife is that that little pin or rivet that holds the locking mechanism has a tendency to work its way out on this particular knife. Third not so great thing about this knife is that it takes 2 hands to open. It's not one hand open or close. The fourth not as great thing about this knife is that there is no pocket clip whatsoever. The fifth not as great thing about this knife is that it is a little bit on the small side. Now here are 5 things that I personally like about this knife. The first one is that it's made in the USA. When you buy this knife, you support American jobs and businesses. The second thing I really like about this knife is that it has a full flat grind blade. No serrations. I really can't stand those. Now I understand that in some lines of work or in certain knives, serrations are necessary, and for those knives they're okay, but for just a standard EDC like this, full flat grind is my way to go. The third thing I like about this knife is that even though it is on the smaller side, I can still get a full 4-finger grip on it. The fourth thing I like about this knife is that it is super affordable. Now I know I've been saying that for quite a few minutes here, so if you'd like to, you can just skip ahead using the timestamp down below to find the part where I talk about the price, but if you want to keep watching, it'll only be a few seconds longer. The fifth thing I like about this knife is that it has a locking blade and it's super easy to open and close. Here are 3 things that I personally dislike about this knife. There's no pocket clip to be seen on this knife. It'll work okay without it, but it still is a pain, and it can get lost in a larger pocket. Number 2. The second thing I dislike about this knife is that there's no one-hand open and close. Now granted, I did carry a Swiss Army knife as my main EDC knife for quite a long time, and I do plan to carry it again in the future. I'm just in the process of testing out some new stuff right now, so I am used to the concept or the having to use two hands to open and close a knife, but there are situations where having a one hand open and close is way easier and better for safety reasons. This, you have to use two hands. Well, it's not the end of the world. It's still something that I'd prefer not to have. The third thing I dislike about this knife is that it is a tad bit small for my liking, even though it'll still work. In reality, it is the same size as the Victorinox Swiss Army Climber, which is one of my favorite EDC knives, so it's not terribly small, but it just has a little bit of a smaller profile. That being said, when compared to something like the Bug Out, it's dwarfed. So, what is the price of this knife? Now, I've been hinting for some time that it is budget and affordable, so let's find out just how affordable it actually is. The Gerber US1 can be purchased on Amazon as well as Gerber's website for $21.99. That is pretty good for everything we're getting here. The best price though is at Blade HQ. On Blade HQ's website, this knife retails for just $17.95, which is a killer of a deal. Personally, if I had to buy this knife, I would say buy it at Blade HQ just because it is such a good and what I feel is a fair price for the materials and the feel that we're getting. Now, if you want to spend $3 extra for this knife at Amazon or Gerber, you are more than welcome to. It's your money, not mine. Now, some of you may know if you've been here since the beginning of the channel that I haven't always had the best of experience with Gerber products. If you want to find out what exactly happened, you can check out my review of the Gerber dime. It is an older video, so it's not as great quality, but I do explain in there what happened and why I didn't have a good experience with their product. This time, I think I've had a better experience with Gerber, although I still am not ready to declare them, the best brand of all time. That being said, this is still a pretty good little knife. So, would I recommend this knife? I would say probably yes. Now, of course, that all depends on what task you plan on using it for. I think this knife is a great American Made EDC under $20, although I'm not completely sure of how long it would last under heavy use. If you just use your EDC knife for opening packages and other light everyday carry tasks, then this knife would be great for that. But if you do a lot of heavy use with your everyday carry knife, then I would suggest skipping this one or keeping this as a backup. As I said, it all depends on what you personally are using your knife for. Alright guys, that is it for this video. I hope you found it helpful and I gave you some information about this knife. Big thanks to my brother for loaning this to me for a week to let me carry it and do a video about. If you found this video helpful, please consider giving it a thumbs up, leaving us a comment down below about your experience with this knife or what you found helpful, and sharing this video with someone who might be looking at this knife and find it helpful. If you have not done so already, please consider subscribing. We make new videos every week focused on outdoor adventure, gear, knives, and everyday carry. That is it for this video. I hope you have a great day, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.